Welcome back to Yellow Avenger. I was thinking about why I tend not to think that I need that. You can see all the way on the right there. You just barely can't see it. There's that clam power up there that I never use, or that I sometimes forget to use. I think the reason I forget to use it. So much jellyfish in this area than I remembered. Right next to each other. There's no more jellyfish during the cruise area? Excuse me, can I not? Okay, I can't actually go back that way. Oh, never mind, I'm being dumb. Oh, I'm just remembering, I was planning on taking the bridge. That's off to the right. There are two jellyfish right next to each other. One here and then one at the bridge. There's no more jellyfish during the path to get here, though. It's a really tough path, but this right here, because it's to the left of the industrial park, I tend to think that surely that power-up would be for going left, not to the right. And it's right next to another power-up for going left. Anyways. Incidentally though, we won't be, or we'll be right next to Shady Shoals actually when we cross the bridge, so in a certain way that does work out. Well, I never liked the last part of this bridge, because I always lose a bunch of bubbles when I do it. Oh well. Not much to be done about that. I was earlier in this game, early on, complaining about this map being very maze-like. I still think that's kind of true. It's kind of labyrinthine, and there's not much rhyme or reason to what leads to what. At the very least, I have managed to figure out what's where, if only because the game makes me run back and forth so many times it's impossible not to learn it. Or woe be you if you don't manage to learn it. Whoops, I was looking down at the episode time. Not an enemy I should take damage from. It's so weird to me, it's just... Like, I think this part would actually be impossible if it didn't have any bubbles. There seems to be a departure from the philosophy of the rest of the game. There's another area in the game seems to do that. I have to fight so many of these guys. Maybe the idea is that I should, I imagine the idea is that you can just get a bunch of bubbles from the enemies that are there. Which you can, yeah. To refill, or if you don't have them right, to get them then. But the fact of the matter is, you still have to use a lot, which is not normal in this game. Okay. I'm gonna be forever disappointed with you, Murray Man, for not giving me anything for those stickers. I just carried it here with me. Some goo? We have all the time in the world, Spongebob. We're 49 episodes in, I think? Or more? Maybe 54? I don't even know. Like, we've literally spent... How many hours? 40 episodes would be 10 hours, right? Like, an entire actual day. Which I guess in a certain sense makes sense. Look, man, I've been patient this whole time. I'm getting kind of tired of being patient. You're not wearing a belt. My belt's clogged up. What? Oh, the belt I'm wearing. Has he been just like holding up his pants this whole time? feel like we should have more dramatic music than this. What? Okay, cool. I mean, the scene's cool. I guess we can go back there. Do I have to go there myself? I figured. Go back to the scene. I like how they emphasize that. Okay, cool. Okay, back to where we just were, because that's where we just came from. I feel like this is the end of the game. Which tells me that I was right about Karen. Stop that! I need the health for the final fight. Should probably stock up on red bubbles too, actually. If I can. This is actually probably consistently being the trickiest part of the game for me, just this one path on the way to... Oh, come on! On the way to the sea needle. And other things around it. So, fitting enough, it ends up being my final challenge. Aside from the final boss, of course. Anyways, I'll probably end up staying up a bit late again to finish this, but I figure I might as well if we're this close to finishing it. I think this really is the final boss that we're about to run off to. There's other— oh, come on! There's something in the game saying this is absolutely the final boss, but at the same time, like it's the main antagonist just appeared. And is doing stuff somewhere now. We're about to go confront them. Bad with it. How am I doing this? I think the objective was literally stated in our mission log as confront the dirty bubble. Like I said, I want to try to conserve health on the way to the final boss. Not that I've ever really needed much health for bosses, but still. I should probably try. In fact, play this smart. I never use this as a checkpoint. So this might be an extended episode, or I might have an extra episode if it's long enough. I don't know. We'll see. It'll probably be long enough for an extra episode. Again, just trying to economize. Since there aren't a lot of jellyfish on the way to the final boss now. There's one before the needle. I figure I should go to the right because that's where the heal is. Guess I didn't need to go as far to the left as I usually went. Come on! Circles? And there before has... Thank you for the boost back up. No! Stop that! Jeez! There before has a game made me detest circles so angrily. Yeah, I've never found myself uttering the word circles with so much disdain. Okay. There's another... Well, I see there's another jellyfish really close to here, but it's also on the other side of a few more running enemies. So I probably shouldn't worry about that. In which case, I think I'll just go. We're missing 3 bubbles, but whatever. So I imagine we've done everything we can do in the game. Like, I don't have any more outstanding... Gigantic dirty bubble. I guess they're gigantic. They look pretty normal size to me. I've done all this other stuff. There's fixing the broken machinery. I don't know what the point of that was. Now that I think about it, there are a few things that just didn't seem to do anything in this game, like proving to Nancy that we're good noodles. And there's the machine thing. Like this. Like there are things I did. The stickers especially. What? Is that complete? I'm not there yet. What the heck? What kind of design is this? So all the stuff is literally saved peeking bottom from the little dirty bubble, which is the final thing. Oh, wait, I don't even have a... I know I haven't. I have not confront. Whatever. What time are we at? I can't see because I have an email. Whatever. Based off the actual clock time, we probably just have like 5 minutes left, but I don't know how long this will take, but whatever. We'll finish this. Hi, Bubble. You're not as translucent as I feel you should be. What are you laughing about? We have 3 used assets, and what I meant is a pretty cool final boss area. I don't know why they used this for an earlier boss that was kind of not interesting. Not that I'm really saying that this boss will automatically be interesting. I have no idea what we're gonna do here. What's this thing do? I'll need that for something at some point, but I don't know what. So I'm guessing I need to use all my powers together in some combination. So you also produced a bunch of little dirty bubbles. How scary, except they can't actually harm me at all, instead they just give me power. Okay, no, so I think I get the idea. Is he really doing anything to attack me right now? That's an attack, okay. Hitbox is not very apparent. But no, it looks like the idea is... Does he only attack the middle area? So I figured that was a switch I had to hit, like every other time I saw that particular pattern. But no, I think what I have to do here now is that. Which is not what that's ever been. I didn't have a way to run away. I don't need bubbles anyways, though, really. So I guess the expected flow of the fight is I just run over here, I get teleported to the right, and then I place one of these somethings on the something that somehow does damage to him or something? We haven't really explained the mechanics of this. I figured that we'd be using all of our superpowers here, which is why I kind of assumed that we would. Taking damage from the cutscene, feels like. Which is why I figured we would actually have to activate that thing. Oh jeez, I took 2 damage there. Really not, though. Not quite that exciting. I mean, the whole point, the game made such a big deal of getting more and more powers over time. I figured that would be the case, but apparently not. Hello! You have control of yourself when you're falling there, which is not normally what's happening in this game. Well, he's smart enough to focus on the area that I have to go to. He knows I have to go there. Or maybe he doesn't. Is there a way to not take damage from that attack, though? Its range is massive. Mission complete. You couldn't at least let the cutscene finish? Jeez. Also, what the heck is this laser? Oh, is that actually the shrink ray? I see. Okay, I get that. It would be cool if we understood beforehand that that's what we were doing. Does that make sense? It's kind of weird we cleaned up the shrink ray, we just kind of left it there. And you're so careful about taking the power glove and bringing it back to our treasure chest in our room for some reason, of all places. But this shrink ray that was gonna shrink the whole city? Nope. I'll just leave it there. Don't worry. kind of weird. I mean, we already saw that the Smolder levels were supposedly so much of a nuisance. I like how Squidward still hates this. Squidward, usually. No, Squidward actually looks happy. Barnacle Boy. I like how these are all just stock pictures except for SpongeBob and Mermaid Man. I'm not sure the civilians are original drawings or not, but everything else, they're just the same stock pictures you see everywhere. I actually don't recognize this annual one, I admit, but it's clearly pasted on. You can't see through her helmet for one. Which would have been really easy to fix, I don't know why they didn't. Like, that's the normal Squidward stock picture, that's the Patrick stock picture that's looking straight at the camera. That's the normal crab stock picture. I won't be needing it anymore. Well, they're not necessarily gone for good, but whatever. Like, the feet of the different characters and their shoes are not even aligned to the same plane. Isn't that literally what he says when I talk? That's in a way that's kind of funny, because this is literally what he says when you speak to him when he has nothing more to say to you. He says literally exactly the same thing. It's literally just like talking to him as an NPC. It doesn't even... The fact that it's an actual cutscene doesn't even change his dialogue. I don't know how you did either. You don't seem very... Well, whatever. You're retired. SpongeBob. Back in retirement, they're mostly retired still. Like, you guys didn't do anything. When you back into retirement, you act like you did any work. Mermaid Man over here couldn't even get up to pull a switch by himself. He literally told me to walk to the other side of the room and pull a switch for him. I appreciate this still ends on the note of the most important characters hating their protagonist. So that was a heck of an interpretation of SpongeBob. Whoa. This game just can't let go of the SpongeBob face. They're really proud of it. Okay, so what was this whole adventure? Oh, we're clipping the game audio here. Not much I can do about that. Oh geez, from different angles now? They want to show it as much as they can. This game though, I got... As time went on, I was able to hide it and felt like hiding it less and less. I kinda hated this game. It's not like I didn't like anything about it. I was honest earlier on when I said that I liked certain things about it. Like, getting to do stuff in Bikini Bottom and see parts of Bikini Bottom that you don't always get to see. Like Industrial Park being a big important place. That's cool. I like that. In all seriousness. But the platforming is not nice. I realize I'll acknowledge that I made it worse for myself by playing this in a way that introduces a lot of input lag that made it worse than it would have been. So it's not all the game's fault. But I'm not kidding when I say the circuit collisions, I think, ruin a lot of things in this game. And a lot of what makes platforming annoying is actually the enemies as well. And them also having their annoying circuit collisions and things like that. But I feel like the platforming engine itself is mostly good if you just tweak SpongeBob's collisions. And other things collisions, I guess. I mean, enemies weren't such a massive pain, it would have been a lot more alright. As it was, the enemy placement and the types of enemies were not enjoyable, and they weren't even satisfying to fight because they were just people, which is kind of weird. I get that they're being chased around like dirty bubbles, but it doesn't even make sense for them to be in any of the places they're in, for one. And two, they are so annoying to fight because they run and jump in the most annoying ways. All Nick titles. Whatever that means. And some weird continuity things, like some missions seem to literally not do anything. I might have missed something, I don't know, with the machinery thing. I'd hope not, but I have no idea. Like, the game told me, hey, well, The game gave me a mission to the whole machinery thing, but it never told me why. Was it that I couldn't exit the area if I didn't fix the machinery? Like, did the door get locked behind me and I turned the machine on to leave? Nothing ever said that, so I don't know. Actually, I never even looked at this. What the heck is the multiplayer in this game? Different mini-games, it looks like, that I probably can't play on my own. Huh. I have no idea what these mini-games are. Unfortunately, I can't show them. Probably. I don't have anyone else to play with. It's always sad when you have games like this where you need other people to access certain content and, well, you just can't. Because you have no one else that would play this game with you. Oh well. But, as I was saying, and I still have some thoughts, so I'll just keep on blabbering. If you're done with this series, then you can just stop watching, and I thank you for watching. And we'll see what I play next, because I'm actually not totally sure. But if you actually care at all about what I think of the game, then it's some of this game just confuses me in what I would consider a bad way, where this game seems to lead you on sometimes in ways that don't make sense. It, for instance, does things like Merman telling you, go to this place, and then, oh, you can't actually go to this place, and there's no explanation for it. It turns out you need to do something else that you were never told anything about. If I was told when I tried to go into the factory that I need to get a key from someone, that would have made more sense. Or if Merman told me, oh, you need to get a key before you can go in, though, and it could be implied you need to get it from Mr. Krabs or something like that, that would help. That would work. I'd be fine with it then, but that's not how it was. The game told me, go there, so I went there, and I couldn't go there. I just couldn't get in. I wasted much time getting there. That's another issue. This game to me, it seems to be like the Metroidvania style of, I don't know, playing out a game? Which, for a game that takes place in a certain area and has some degree of emphasis on that area, or at least it kind of felt that way to me, that's cool. But it felt like a Metroidvania that doesn't understand how to be one. For one, you had teleports, which is nice, except not enough. And moving around, getting around was annoying, which is a bad thing. I mean, of course it's annoying. It's a bad thing for anything in a game to be annoying, really. But I didn't like getting from point A to point B, and the issue is that that's what this whole game is. It's like almost a Metroidvania, but it's just a fetch quest instead. A series of fetch quests, which I had heard before I ever actually picked up this game that some people didn't like because it was just fetch quests. It's just going places for people over and over and over, and it didn't feel very satisfying, which I didn't take too seriously because, I mean, not most of the games I play on this channel, even the ones that I like, aren't usually respected by most people anyways. But yeah, that's exactly what this game was. It's a pretty apt assessment. It's just you doing a bunch of things, going a bunch of places over and over and over and over, in a world that for some reason changes at seemingly random, as opposed to you opening up new paths yourself, getting new abilities that you go new places. Sometimes your new abilities let you go new places, but half the time, the terrain just changes without warning, in ways you just have to go and find for yourself and discover. Which feels like the wrong way to do that to me. And you don't get to open up like nice interconnecting paths from one place to another very often. It's more just, you have a couple branching paths that branch off linearly from a central area. And then you keep having to go back out to those branched areas. And it takes time every single time. And it takes too much time. I'm not kidding when I say I think this game doesn't respect your time. It's actually kind of ridiculous to me that this playthrough went as long as it did. Because there's not that much content compared to how much time we spent playing the game. It's just that you keep going through the same areas over and over and over. And usually in a Metroidvania type of game, you try to minimize that by giving the player ways to get back to places they've already been to faster. Or at the very least make it more enjoyable and potentially quick to get from point A to point B. But this game didn't do that. And there are still some strange things that I never understood, like why there's a cave that's just there. It's implied there's somebody in there doing something and nobody ever even questions that. There are lots of things in this game where It would, if there was just the briefest moment of anyone, including such as SpongeBob, questioning things, it would make more sense to me. I think, for instance, SpongeBob should every now and then just chime in and say what he thinks about something, but he doesn't. That could have solved some issues, like, my thought process as to why I should add this task to my to-do list is this, or the reason I'm taking this particular action, like fixing this machine, is this. But it doesn't have that for some reason, so lots of things seem just totally unjustified as to why you're doing them. Not to mention, some missions seem to just not do anything at all, including the game's big overarching optional quest of finding stuff. That being finding the stickers. As far as I can tell, I got nothing for it. Not to mention other things like Officer Nancy, the noodle thing, as far as I can tell, did nothing. Did I actually need to do that to progress for some reason? Would I actually be prevented from progressing if I didn't do that somehow? I didn't get anything from it, so I don't think that's the case. There could be some things I missed in this game, like I'm fairly certain the health upgrades are optional, but I feel like I was fairly thorough. I think I got everything. And there were some weird things like Karen saying, "Come back later," except no. As far as I can tell, like unless you have to go speak to her immediately before the final boss. No. She says come back later and you don't come back later. Why? You could have just not have had her say that. I would also appreciate if characters had different idle chatter in different parts of the game, so it wasn't as repetitive as it was. But Karen's idle chatter, for some reason, just tells you to come back when there's no time to come back. It's... I don't know, there are some other games that I've liked less, and the production quality of this one's pretty alright, it's just that the gameplay isn't fun. In fact, it reminds a little bit of the game I played right before this, Legend of the Lost Spatula. I think, on the whole, it's actually a pretty decent game, that game. It has nice music. It actually, and for being a Game Boy Color game, it managed to make Bikini Bottom in a more in-depth way than you'd expect, which isn't much, but still. It has references to the show in nice little ways. And there are lots of little secrets to find, although they're kind of hidden in ways that, by today's standards, aren't very nice. But in the end, the gameplay itself is not at all, to me, enjoyable, and this game is the same thing. If the gameplay was fun, I could probably at least look past the other issues I have with it, but that's not to say I don't have other issues with it. Mostly just misleading things. And the fetch quest being really dull and repetitive. But if moving around wasn't as bad, and there are more efficient ways to move around, then I think the whole fetch quest thing wouldn't be as bad. Because the reason it's a slog is because moving around is a slog. So then all the missions that are just moving around in places are by extension a total slog. Oh well, not that I think there's anything else to say that isn't just ranting out the same thing over and over about this game. What will I play next? I actually have no idea. Will it be Spongebob? I don't know. It could be. There's a good chance it will be, although I don't know what it would be if it was. So we'll see what happens. That's all I can give. There's no obvious game to play after this one, I don't think, but there are, of course, a couple SpongeBob games left. Not many, though. Jeez, I don't know what I'm gonna make of my life when I don't have any more SpongeBob games to play. I don't know. It's like being the one constant on this channel forever, but we're gonna talk about that some other time, and there are probably still more than maybe one person watching it. I don't know. Bye everyone! Whoa. My poor voice. My voice can't stand talking about this game either, apparently. Bye everyone! Huh. This is apparently where you get taken if you reload the game. It just saves before you fight the final boss. Okay. Oh, wait, my to-do list is actually done. Well, I can fight the final boss again. So is my save file actually marked as completed? Because I don't have a defeat the dirty bubble mission anymore. There we go, that's our first mission done. And it's not really my intention to play more of this game, but I'm kind of tempted to make one last check. One last thing I want to see. There is no later, Karen. A couple things that occurred to me on the way here that I forgot to mention earlier. I do talk about this game's production values being pretty decent, and they mostly are, aside from the really, really cheap cutscenes that are comprised of a bunch of stock art. And on top of that, lots of cases of like floating geometry randomly, and sometimes floating characters, seeing through certain geometry, things like that were not so great. In the midst of really nice details like Weenie Hut being here, even though it never plays any role in the game, but doesn't necessarily have to. I like that it's here. One nice little detail too that I forgot to mention, I do appreciate that you can do things out of order, which can be annoying in some cases. Well, sometimes there are times where you can't do things out of order, and it's really frustrating and seems kind of dumb. There are times where you can do things out of order, and it doesn't really make much sense. There are also even cases where you can do things... But no new news broadcast. It seems like nothing changes after you complete the game. I'm gonna assume nothing changes if you fight the dirty level again. But it's nice how, for instance, if you do certain things in advance of being given the mission to do it, there'll actually be extra dialogue for that. That's a really nice detail I wouldn't expect to be added, but they do it, which is cool. And that at the same time, there's so many other things that they don't do that they should have done, that I would have expected them to do in other ways. Oh well. I guess that's all then. Good night, everyone. Wait. I never saw what that last help was. I wonder what that is. I have no idea.